episode of Scottish Football Matters with me, Murray, and my good friend Lorenzo. Today we are going to review the six games from the weekend and some of the fallout, and we'll have a wee preview of the three European ties for Celtic, Rangers, and Aberdeen. Again, like you've said in other podcasts, please like and subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and leave any comments, and we can also try and discuss anything that's coming out of the comments. But Lorenzo, how was your weekend? It's nice to do one of these things where my team won and your team didn't.
Wasn't very good, apart from the fact that we didn't win, plus I got soaked at the game as well. It was pelting it down with rain, so it wasn't the best of days, no.
It wasn't the best of weekends, to be honest. It was sort of on-off game, wasn't it? But I think, I suppose that's probably the best place to start is Celtic Park. I did actually predict a draw, I think I said two each, but you know, from what I've seen of it, and obviously I didn't see the whole thing like yourself, it was just the highlights. Looked like pretty similar to the first game of the season, where Celtic dominated, created enough to win, just weren't really good in front of the goal, just lacking that final pass, that final shot, and obviously you got the goal by McCowan that day with deflection, but it was very similar. It wasn't like Hibs created much. I think they had one on half time where they could have scored. I think they had a set piece, didn't they? But apart from that, there wasn't much coming for Hibs. But I think it was more just down to Celtic not being great in the final third. And obviously the offside.
They weren't very good. They weren't very good in the fact that I didn't like Hibs' style either in terms of every time Celtic went near one of their players, they just went down looking for a foul and they got it. And then they were also at it time wasting as well. So I think there should have been more than 4 minutes added on at the end of the game because there was a lot of time wasting by Hibs.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of tactic people doing it when they're holding on to 0-0.
Wouldn't have mattered anyway because we could have played for another 90 minutes and they've scored a goal. So yeah, injury time doesn't really matter.
I actually mentioned it that I felt Maeda might get moved to the right. What did you think of that? Did you think it worked? Didn't work?
No.
Was he any more? He did. He looked.
He was all right, but
more involved than he did when he played through the middle. But he didn't look like his old self.
But he only put him through the middle for about 5 minutes, and then he brought on Johnny Kenny. And for me, that was the icing on the cake. When that happened, I thought, see if you've got to bring Johnny Kenny on to win a game of football, you may as well chuck it.
I think he might be your best finisher.
Who?
He's the one, Johnny Kenny. I think he looks decent. He's the only one who has a proper striker movement. Look at that header. No one else makes that kind of good movement. I know the header isn't good.
Ian was quite good. Ian has got quite good movement.
He's a bit of a lump though. I don't think he has. I think he's got a place. Do you know what I mean? But
he's not fully fit either.
No, I know, and maybe you'll see that sharpness. But I just think with Kenny, and I don't know what's happened with Yamada. I don't know if he's disappeared somewhere. But like, I thought Yamada looked decent when he's back to go at Ibrox when I see him, and then I thought, Kenny scored against Livingston. He looked decent in that game, and then he got bombed out for the next few weeks, and then he appears.
He's not even been on. That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. He's not even been on the bench, and then he all of a sudden appears on the bench. I'm not saying I don't like him, but he's not been in the team for ages, and then all of a sudden he's bringing him on to bank on him getting us a winner. That's my point.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
I do like your team, but I think after a point in the game, Hibs, as you said, they played for the 0-0 and they got it, and fair play to them. I'm not going to say they deserved it, but Celtic didn't really. They weren't good enough in that final.
Celtic should have won the game. They had enough chances to win the game. They should have won it.
Just that final cross, I felt like Konecki was. Do you know who I was impressed with, actually from the highlights? I thought Sarachi looked decent. Really,
Sarachi was good.
He actually looked, and I don't want to mean, but he looked levels above Tierney. The Tierney that we've seen so far this season. I mean, I'm not saying
of course
you can't get to that, but if you have to compare what you see right now, and what you see right now, Sarachi looks like a modern day fullback. Tierney looks like not so much, because Sarachi was getting, he was offering that like overlap time and time again. Even the underlap, he was there. Whereas I feel like Tierney's not.
He can cross a ball. Sarachi can cross a ball. He can cross a ball.
Right, so. And I think I was a bit surprised that Ralston came in because I think Donovan's done well.
I know. I was a bit annoyed about that.
I felt like it was probably a good chance that maybe you could have brought Ralston in against Braga because maybe that isn't your bread and butter, and maybe he's a bit more accustomed to those European nights. And
Yep.
it felt like the boys come in, played 4 games, and played well.
He has.
And he gets bombed out, and I was a bit surprised with that one. But
It'll not be
I
long to
understand
Alistair
it.
Johnson's back though. It'll not be long to Alistair Johnson's
I
back.
think
It
he's about
shouldn't.
two or three. They're looking at just after that international, they were saying.
Aye, so it won't be long.
So, so
But
yeah, I think
I
they're
would
looking
put Donovan above Ralston in the pecking order. I don't know what Brendan Rodgers will do, but that's what I
I
think.
think I think based on Saturday, you'd be surprised if Rogers thinks the same because I just didn't think there was any need to bring him straight back in because I don't think he's merited just getting his place back straight
I
away.
know because I don't.
Um,
As you say, Donovan's no put a foot wrong. So no,
Otherwise, I felt my only thing was I thought it was good to see Bernardo there because I think he's a good player.
it was really good seeing
Um,
him getting a game.
and I still think the midfield balance is it's off. I don't know.
And
I don't know what's off about it, but
mhm.
I would, if it was me, I would drop McGregor, and maybe not for
Well,
Braga. I'd just consider, but
Tati's out of the game on Thursday. He's injured, so that's why he
you have
wasn't
got
playing at the weekend.
you've got Motherwell next weekend, and
Aye,
to
next
me that's
Sunday.
a perfect game to go Engels Holden and go McCowan and Negrin or McCowan Bernardo or Bernardo Negrin, whatever combo you go with that.
Well, I
I
would
feel
prefer to
McGregor
see
needs
Bernardo. I like Bernardo, but
I think McGregor needs dropped in that sort of sense of why not see what your future could be? And
it's,
because I don't
Celtic
see
are
Engels.
famous for that. Celtic are
Uh,
famous. They never do. They never done it with Scott Brown, and they don't
yeah.
look as if they're going to do it with Callum McGregor, which is
I just
wrong.
think that you're never going to know whether. I don't think Engels is good enough to be a starting eight, right? I'm just being honest here, right? But
No.
I do think that he could be a, an excellent six.
Hmm.
And right now, I think Negrin, Bernardo, Hitati, and even McCowan all offer more than Engels does in that forward area. So
Yeah.
apart from obviously crosses and set pieces and that, but you can do that from any position.
Hmm.
And I just think you don't have a great deal of depth at holding mid. And for me, you should be trying them out there, especially when you've got home games. Home games to any side in the SPL, Celtic are going to get 75% possession minimum, right? So play him and let's see if
Aye.
he can take the game from that because I feel like everything slows down with McGregor. I'm not saying he doesn't have a play. I mean, he'd still be my first name in the team sheet in an old firm or a
Hmm.
big away game or a European night, but I feel these home domestic
Aye.
games
He doesn't really need
don't
to play
feel.
every game. I know what you mean. He doesn't
Uh,
need to play them all. No.
and I think you might get more out of Engels in that position. But
Mm.
we move on to Motherwell Aberdeen. It was a bit of a. I mean, you could have just watched the last 90 minutes from the 90th minute
Aye,
in
I
that
know they
one.
scored
But
two goals
the
in the
weather
last
was
an injury
the
time.
weather was stinking, wasn't it? I mean, the weather was terrible.
Aye.
Um, Obviously, you caught the end of it, but them having the 5:30 kickoff, they got the. I'd say the worst of the weather.
Aye.
But I thought fair play to
By
Motherwell.
that point, I was in. By that point, I was in the pub
They
after the
needed to
game.
win Motherwell. To be fair, they've been. I mean, no, I know Aberdeen needed. We'll get onto them, but I think it's a great win for Motherwell, and it's good
Aye.
to see that they didn't abandon their principles. If you know what I mean, like for 90 minutes they were trying and trying and trying, that wasn't happening, right?
But they've
But
played
they
well in
still,
every other game that they've played. They've just been unlucky.
but I liked that they didn't just go with like long ball stuff or tried something different. They just kept going, and
Mm.
eventually, obviously, they get. I mean, it's a goalkeeping howler in it. I mean, it's possibly the worst goalkeeping error I've seen in
Aye.
a long time. And I
Yeah.
do think part of that's on the conditions. I mean, I know I'm
Hmm.
not going to say solely down to that, but wet
That's got
day,
to be
slippery
that's the
ball,
howler of the weekend. That's the howler of the weekend.
absolutely. And then, in fact, my second howler comes in that game as well, and it's the referee. How the hell can he not see that that's a penalty in first viewing?
Hmm.
Honestly, everyone could go, oh, penalty. And yet we need to go to VAR and waste
Aye.
about 5, 10 minutes of our
10
life
minutes. I know.
while it's pushing down. And everyone's just like, God, why couldn't you see that first time? Anyone
Aye.
else could. The whole crowd, even the Aberdeen crowd, like, oh, penalty. And it's just mental. But again, it's just, I'm going to harp on about it until something changes. Referees are just too shit scared to make any decisions nowadays. And they just wait for VAR to bail them out. and it's terrible. But
I can't see Jimmy Tilleen lasting though after that. I mean, he won't do much longer, I wouldn't imagine, because
I think what we'll say is we can sort of talk about. I was going to bring it up as a talking point, but I do think that any managerial change now is going to happen after next weekend because you've got the international break, and I
think so.
I think Aberdeen have Shakhtar at home and Dundee at home. I think it's massive that he doesn't lose any of those games. I don't even think he can lose to Shakhtar because
he's not going to win. He's not going to beat Shakhtar.
Never say never, because their best performance this season has been against Steaua Bucharest at home.
I know that, but Shakhtar Donetsk are a tricky team to play against. They always have been.
Steaua Bucharest are better though, based on Steaua Bucharest, the Europa League team, and
Shakhtar Donetsk used to be a Champions League team. They were always in the Champions League.
A lot of that's been the war stuff, and they've lost a lot of players, and they're not quite at the level they were. But we'll preview that in a wee bit. But I would say Keelan's got, I think he's got this week to save his job.
Yeah. 2 games.
Move on to the next one, which is Dundee United Kelly. I mean, I don't think I predicted Kelly to win, but I did say they would draw. But fair play. And the one talking point I would have was the second goal, which it does look over the line, right? But it's pure guesswork again with our lack of technology.
I know we don't have the goal line stuff. England have got that. We don't have that. So,
but don't get me wrong. I think we can all see that it looks like it's over the line. So I'm not. I don't think it needs to be a major talking point, but I do think we still need to have clarity because we shouldn't be guessing.
I don't know why they've not got goal line technology. They can't say if they can afford a £10 VAR system. Surely to God they can get the cheapest basic goal line technology.
But I have to say again, like Motherwell, Kilmarnock needed to turn their draw into a win. I said that, and they did. So fair play to them. And I feel you're going to get this with Dundee United. You're going to get like 2 or 3 games where they're great, 2 or 3 games where they're not so great. But I think that happens because they've got so many young, sort of not even so much young players, but players that aren't in the Scottish League. Do you know what I mean? They're all sort of a lot of foreign players, and I just think Dundee United are going to be safe as houses this year, probably around 5th, 6th, 7th. But
they will be.
But I think we're going to see wee dips in forms now and again, just because I just think that maybe their squad depth isn't quite there either. But again, if we move on to the 4th game, which was Hearts Falkirk, and I think we both actually predicted that Hearts would take a 3-0 lead. I stupidly said that it would end up 3-2 and they would come back, and you said it would be 4-1. But fair play.
Give them 3 goals anyway. I gave them a 3-goal.
Yeah,
I actually got it right. I got it closer than you did.
You did. The goal of the weekend was the first goal there. Absolute worldie.
Really good goal.
He's read this again. That's the second time I've given him that. But because I gave him it against Livy with his last minute. But I think Hearts look. I don't think we should go over the top though. It's home to Falkirk. Falkirk aren't a team that are travelling particularly well.
Well, see this talk of a title challenge and all that. It's far too early for that because look what happened to Aberdeen.
They haven't even played Hibs yet, and that'll be a big test this weekend.
I know. Aye.
Is that Easter Road? I think. Am I right? I think that Easter Road. I'm pretty sure. It's a big game, and it's not even just that though. Even if they come through that, they're not even.
I'm trying to think. Have they played us yet? No. We've not played Hearts yet either. No, we've not.
It's like after the international break.
But see, this is what's annoying me because we're not getting a what's the word? We're not getting a proper run. Like you're getting it feels like a couple of games, then you're getting an international break, then you've got another couple of games.
It's really a couple of games because you keep playing a cup game and all that there, and even at
I know exactly.
Even at the next one before the November one, we get like 2 league games. I think maybe 3 league games and a cup game, and it's like. And it's like it's just cup game as a semi.
Stop start all the time. It's just a pain.
But fair play to Hearts. I think Falkirk. Put it this way, they'll put up a better fight against Rangers next week because they're at home. But I think when Falkirk go to Celtic Park, and I think you've seen that in the cup game as well. When they go to Celtic Park, Easter Road, Tynecastle, and Ibrox, I think you'll see that they'll probably get swatted away quite comfortably. But when you go to Falkirk, I think if you can come out of there with a 1-goal win, you've done well.
Aye,
Do you know what I mean? It's just a
tough place to go. Plus,
different.
it's a plastic surface as well.
Yep, this is the scoreline I got spot on. St Mum 1, Dundee 0. I did say that. I just felt that St Mum don't have the goals to be going 1 2 3-0, which I think their squad would suggest they should be beating Dundee comfortably.
Yeah.
Put it
Aye.
this way, I
Because
think St
Dundee
Mum will
haven't
be.
been great. Dundee haven't been great for the start of the
St
season
Mum are
anyway.
third in the league, aren't they? I mean, they're doing well, St Mum, and
Aye.
but Dundee, they lack, they kind of lack everything. And I don't want to sound too harsh, but
Mm.
there's no area of the pitch that I would say that they're. I suppose they're not losing a lot of goals. I'll give them that. Like they are losing 1-0s and two. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Even the one each at Ibrox and stuff, but they're keeping it quite tight. So fair play to Presley. Maybe being a centre back, he's able to organise his team, but they just lack. They lack something in the top end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they really need to go into
They'll
the
need to do it
away
in
match,
January.
in January. We move on to the Sunday game, Rangers Livy. I think my take on it was Livy started better for the first 15 minutes. They had a couple of chances. Then Rangers got their goal, which was a good goal. Actually,
They
first
also
goal
they
for
al-
the
and then they also got a penalty that
Yep,
Tavernier missed. Is
yep,
that right?
yep. Yeah, I mean, it was a penalty based on the fact that you had a clear pull of the shot, but we
Mm-hmm.
just want to see consistency in this because so many of them go unpunished, and then you
Yeah.
get one slowed down, and you go, "Oh, it's a penalty." But what about the one last week where it was worse? And that's the thing that annoys people about shot pulls. Is
It's no consistency, and
I
there's no,
don't,
no
there's no,
consistency.
I don't think anyone can argue that Raskin gets his shot pulled right. Does that mean his legs need to fall to the floor? No. But does he do that so that it draws attention to VAR? Yes. Now,
But what's the
it's a
stupid
tough
run up
one.
by Tavernier about? That's a daft
He's
run up on
always
it.
done it. He's
But
always done
it's
it. And
so stupid.
Tavernier's always been a sort of 7 out of 10 penalty kind of guy. So he misses some, he scores some.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see your striker hit them. I've always felt that at Rangers. I'm wanting Miovski to be hitting them.
I prefer strikers to hit penalties as well.
But what I would say is Rangers actually played, and then they got a goal disallowed for handball, which again, on the back of the Shankland, which wasn't given, but on the back of the Boyle one, you can't argue it. If we get
Well,
consistency on that, we're not
I
going to
know
argue.
you're obviously
Because
getting consistency on it now,
the
but
unit,
they
the
should have
worst
done it with
one,
Shankland as well.
the worst one was Shankland was the worst of the three handballs.
Mm-hmm.
Shankland was like, he parried it onto himself.
But
Whereas
see, because there was that
Boyle,
much made of the Shankland one, they're obviously
Boyle did, Boyle
scrutinising it a
did
lot more now.
Uh, Boyle didn't do a lot wrong. I mean, he doesn't break his stride, it hits his hand. And even Cornelius, it does hit his arm, but it's not like he's moved his arm to get. Do you know what I mean? It's completely different. It's almost like Shankland actually moved his arm to get the ball and he
Mm-hmm.
got away with it. And then two people probably do less wrong and they get penalised. But I think we all agree that the goal should be disallowed and can't argue with that because if the player handles it, unintentional or not, it has led to a goal and it has helped him, control the ball and then shoot. It's not like it's one of those ones where it's hit a fingertip and then he
Yeah.
shot and you go, I have a bit less sympathy. It has hit his arm, which has brought it down so he could kick it in the net. So,
Yeah.
But I thought Rangers were. I'm not going to say really good. I mean, Russell Martin said we were outstanding, which I'm not saying that, but I thought they were certainly very good, I would say, for 25 minutes in the first half.
Outstanding to getting a goal in injury time to win the game.
But the second half was just abysmal. It was just reverted to type. Everything that they done right for 25 minutes, they abandoned. They just went, oh, no, let's not do anything that works. Let's do the complete opposite and give Livingston a chance to get back in the game. And fair play to Livingston. Montgomery, does he still play for you? Is he on loan?
He's only on loan.
Mm-hmm. But he puts in an absolute brilliant cross. It's sometimes you criticise when you can see the goal, and I can criticise that maybe the marking wasn't as good, but the delivery's unbelievable. I mean, you can't stop that. That delivery's on a. I just think that you should be getting close at your man, and you shouldn't get a free header for 4 yards.
Oh, aye.
Mm-hmm. But the ball is great, and fair play to Sela, and he scores, and then this is why Rangers win the game though. because they abandoned all tactics. They threw every forward-thinking player they could think of on the pitch. They went three at the back, where Tavernier was left centre back, Aaron's was right centre back, and
Mm-hmm.
Suter was centre back, and they just flung everything forward. And then they eventually scored from a set piece, which fair play to Max Aarons, because he's had a lot of stick after his probably poor start, but then the very poor red card in Bruges, because that was just stupid. But fair play to them, because it's hard to come to a team like Rangers and Celtic, and especially when you're a lone player and you know your future's not there.
I mean,
But at least
I'm going to say, to be fair to Russell Martin, though, and I wouldn't say this normally, but to be fair to him, he didn't have any other choice, did he? He had to go gung ho and change his tactics to try, because he knew his job's on the line. He knows that.
I know, but I've never seen anything like it though. I mean, when that goal went in, it was 30 seconds to a minute of and then straight back into Martin GTF. And it's I've now I understand it, but I think it's going too far. Because at the end of the day, he's employed by the club. Whether you like it or not, someone at the club thinks he's the right man for the job. Back him and back the team.
Well, you've won the game, right? You've won the game.
Exactly.
You'd like to think you should be backing your manager if he's won a game of football. I know he's only won the first. That's his first league game he's won. But you see, you keep doing that. Of course, you keep doing that. If you back him, then he might. If the fans back him, he might come good. I'm not saying he will come good, but you never know. He might.
He had to run down the tunnel because he couldn't go and celebrate with his fans because he really got dogs abuse. That's not right. He won the game. Cheer him and say, "Well done." We still don't think you're the right man for the job, but well done. Like you got us through a match, and you know, I watched, Arsenal grind out a win yesterday, and everyone goes, "Oh, it's a sign of champions." Well, it's the sort of thing you need to do.
The only thing is though, it's a sign of champions. But if it's a sign of champions, if you do it consistently, it's a sign of champions.
But it has to start somewhere. In Celtic, put it this way, I would compare the Rangers performance to the Celtic performance against Kilmarnock. Very similar. For half of it, weren't on it. For half of the game, they looked actually quite good. And they scored the goal, and then somehow it was one each. And then you found a way to win by hook or by crook. Doesn't matter whether it was a penalty or not a penalty. Doesn't matter. They found a way to win. And I think sometimes you need to hold your hands up and say, well, give them credit and give the manager credit, because, I mean, they won the game.
Aye.
And every winning run has to start somewhere. But will they back it up? That's another question. But if we go on to the European ties this week, we'll start with Celtic. Celtic home to Braga, 5:45 on Thursday. How are you feeling about that one? Do you think you can back up your point in Belgrade?
I'm hopeful that we can. I mean, if we put it the right side and we play the right way, we can win the game. But the game at the weekend there was quite worrying.
Aye, won as well. So,
aye, but it was quite worrying. The game at the weekend there was quite worrying. If we play like that, then we might not win the game. But
Celtic very rare. I mean, don't always play like that. But I don't. Apart from honestly, seeing Celtic have actually changed up their team when they played Falkirk and Livingston. I think they've looked better than their first choice team. I don't think the first choice team's really been great yet. I mean, they were great against Partick, but let's be honest, that's like saying Rangers were great against Alloa.
And then obviously we got Falkirk as well, and we get Falkirk the cup as well, didn't we? So you're expected to beat their teams.
I don't know.
Quite comfortably.
I think Braga are a different team away from home. I don't think they're as good as when they play at that big rock, like Dumbarton Rock, but nice. But I think Celtic will win 2-1, but I think it'll be. I think they'll have a lot of the ball. They always do. Braga, they're a good football team. They'll keep the ball off these for bits. I think they're always got a goal in them, but I think Celtic with the crowd, that's another thing, is what will the crowd be like? Because
I don't know how many people's going to go to the game, obviously. Don't know if it's going to be
part of this protest, isn't it? That they're thinking.
Well, there's a 29-minute protest this time at the game. There's going to be, I think it's 29 minutes, is it not? A silent 29-minute silence or something.
Rangers fans should start that. I mean, 25 minutes about booing the manager, but no, I think Celtic will sneak it. Yeah, what do you think? You the same? Just
I think they'll probably edge it 2-1. I'd say as well. I'll probably edge it.
yeah. On to Rangers in Austria. I would have to say, on the back of the Genk result, I'm more worried about this than I maybe was when the fixtures came out. But I do think that they're a bang average team, and I don't think that this is a particularly difficult away day. It's not like with a big crowd or a hostile stadium. I think even if Russell Martin's Rangers turn up, they shouldn't be losing the game.
No, I think Genk are a bang average team as well. To be fair,
but I do think you do still need to say that part of that was the red card didn't help us.
No.
I do still think that we probably get a draw in that match if the red card doesn't happen. But no, I don't know whether it's hard to back a Rangers team managed Russell Martin, but I think Rangers sneak it as well. I think 2-1 as well.
Think 2-1?
Yeah, I don't think there's much. I can't really ever see a Rangers game where the opposition don't score.
Well,
because we
I'll go
massive holes in our defence.
I think you'll get a point. I think it'll be 1-1.
It could be. It could well be. But I don't know. I feel like Russell Martin might go into this international break on the back of 3 wins, and hopefully we can then see if maybe some of the pressure lifts. Not sure it will, but we might.
I doubt it. Nobody sounds at the end of the game the other day. Doubt it.
The pressure, Aberdeen Shakhtar, a tough one because, as I said before, Shakhtar aren't the team that were a Champions League team. I think you played them a couple of years back, and
we did.
They've lost a lot because of the war. Like they've lost a lot of players. They've sort of understandably. And
it's only natural.
I think Aberdeen maybe being away from domestic troubles, they might put on a wee performance. I'm not sure it'll be enough to win. In fact, I don't think it'll be enough to win. But something tells me they might get out of there with a draw. And like Russell Martin, I know everything has to start somewhere. If you're going to turn it around, it has to happen somewhere. And to an extent, they were unlucky not to get a point on Saturday. They were 0-0 in the 90th minute, and a wee bit of luck because you see that game out, and that's the starting point for turning your troubles. But obviously, I just want to see Scottish teams get better results in Europe as well. Because
I'd like to see them win as well, but it's going to be tough.
I'm actually going to be quite hopeful this week and say 2-1 Celtic, 2-1 Rangers, and 1 each Aberdeen. And I think for Aberdeen, that is like a win because it's a tricky team. But I would say though, if Shakhtar play it near the best, they will probably win the game. But
you might be right in terms of the fact that they're away for domestic football.
The pressure might come off them a wee
bit. And it could be less, and they might play more flowing free football. They might score a couple of goals. You never know.
You see it all the time with teams who are like fighting relegation, go to the cup semis and the finals and quarterfinals. Do you know what I mean? They go far in cups because they're playing with a different pressure. So
I'll go for a draw. I think Aberdeen might do well enough to get a draw. I'm with you in that one.
They might just do enough just to keep it tight the whole game. You know what I mean? In battle.
I'm hoping they get a draw or a victory. I wouldn't like to see them getting beat. Put it that way.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how we get on. But obviously we'll do another one on Friday, and we can preview next weekend's games and obviously go through the European ties. I think next weekend's the last one before the international break. So I don't know all the games, but I know that Celtic have Motherwell at home.
That's right, on the Sunday. Yep.
We've got an Edinburgh derby on the Saturday.
And you must know who your own team are playing.
Oh, we are away at Falkirk.
3
o'clock. Well, we're on the telly away to Falkirk at 3, so that makes me think that the Edinburgh Derby.
Do you know what I think's really weird? Why was there a game? Why was there a Scottish game or any game really on the telly yesterday at 3 o'clock? Is this a new thing? Is this a new thing?
They seem to have moved the 12 o'clock kickoff to 3 o'clock for Sky, because I don't just think it's about, they're putting the WSL on there and sometimes English Championship, but I think it was something that teams have moaned about, that on the back of like European nights, you're kicking off at midday.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when some fans have complained that when you were going to Aberdeen at midday and you're going to, so I think they've tried to put it in at 3 o'clock.
Even when Ross County were in the league, you were going up to Dingwall as well.
And it's not the best.
I'm not a great 3 o'clock lover on a Sunday either, though.
No, I think it passes maybe for Sunday as well.
Maybe 2 o'clock,
you know
maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock would have been all right.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It's obviously Sky know that they're going to get less viewers than they would if it was 12, because at 12 people are going to watch it and then watch the 2 Premiership games.
That's right.
But yeah, it is what it is. But Celtic had it obviously against Kilmarnock. We've had it against Livingston, and then we've got it next weekend against Falkirk. That's not to say that this isn't 3 because we're in Europe as well, because these might have been Saturday games.
Oh, well, it would have been if you were in the Champions League, of course.
It hadn't been for the Europa League, So, but I think I think Aberdeen have Dundee, so I think that's 4 of the games. They must be able to work out the other ones. So that would be St Mirren, Kilmarnock, Dundee United. Oh, Kilmarnock can't play Dundee United because we just played them, so it must be.
Well, it's Hearts and Hibs, isn't it?
Right, so it must be St Mirren and Dundee United, and then no, it must
Kilmarnock.
be. I don't know. We'll figure it out. That mean no, but I just feel like Kelly have played Dundee, haven't they? So I don't actually know. Kelly
Feels like that. It might be Kelly St Mirren. Is it? Kelly, it might be Kelly St Mirren.
It must be Kelly. But then that'd be Dundee Derby, and we've had that. I don't know. I can't remember, but I know there's games on. No, wait, no, Aberdeen's got Dundee. That's it. So it must be. So it must be because Motherwell.
Celtic. Motherwell against
Motherwell, Dundee United. Kelly.
No. Celtic are playing Motherwell.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm just going to check it. Who the hell's playing who? Right.
Celtics. You were saying that. Celtic are playing Motherwell.
Right. Celtic, Motherwell. Falkirk, Rangers. Aberdeen, Dundee.
Get it here on the phone.
I know, I'm just getting it. Kelly, St Mirren, Dundee United, and Livy. So it's Kelly Livy. No, Kelly St Mirren, Dundee United.
Kelly St Mirren, Dundee United against Livy. And of it, Hearts against Hibs. That's the Saturday games.
Is it Saturday morning or Saturday night? Hearts Hibs.
4:46, so it's Saturday night.
So it must be the Premier Sports game. That's a good one then. That's worth watching, actually.
Yeah.
So always worth. I mean, I always think when you get derby games at like evening, it's better.
Under the lights.
Aye. I'd actually, I wouldn't mind an Old Firm at that time.
So would I, but they'll never do that. Unless it's a cup final, 3 o'clock, obviously. But
I just think that'd be a great time. Like, and you would get so many more viewers. But aye, we'll obviously preview those weekend games and look at how the Scottish teams did in Europe.
Yep, on Friday.
Right, well, I'll let you go.
Right, cool, mate. Thanks again.
Right,
you too. Right, bye-bye.
Bye.